Welcome back to episode 181 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. We are back again for another week. We have now entered the month of May, and I know Kyle will get a kick out of this. For all you Star Wars fans out there, may the 4th be with you. Of course, today is... Now, the day this comes out, it'll be May 5th. It'll be Cinco de Mayo. It'll be my day. But um, may the 4th be with you. We're recording this on May 4th, so there you go. We have topics that we want to discuss today. Of course, same people as always, myself and Kyle. And before we get into everything, as always, Kyle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I can't complain. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Have been since I was a little kid. The Yankees and Star Wars was my childhood, man. Absolutely, and it was a big part for me. And obviously, we don't do a freaking Star Wars podcast, so you don't know about it much. But absolutely huge into Star Wars. I absolutely love this day. I get to rot on my couch and watch Star Wars movies all day. It's pretty much what I want to do. But other than that, man, I'm doing fantastic. My Yankees are absolutely winning on and off the field, man. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But their front office really, they drug me in, man. And the way they're running things up in New York this year, I have a lot to say on it, and I'm extremely excited. I'm happy. This is what we've been asking for years. And it's finally coming to fruition. And it's not just about Anthony Volpe, by the way. But again, I'll get into
I
that a
was
little
gonna
bit
say,
later.
I'm like, is this an Anthony Volpe dump podcast episode?
It's not just about it. It's the principle surrounding Anthony Volpe, but obviously, like I said, I'll get into that. But I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Playoff Melo is still alive and well, and we're going to round two, of course. Lakers scared me last week, man. They lost game 4 on Sunday. I went to game 5, lost that too, and I walked out all pissed off. I'm like, what the fuck? They're going to blow this 3-0 lead. Of course, the king, LeBron, he's not going to blow a 3-0 lead. Come on now. Came out Friday. They blew the Rockets out on their home court by 20. I was super happy. We're going to the next round. And, a part of me for like a couple minutes, I was sitting there watching the game, and I'm like, where was this effort 48 hours ago? Like, this would have been nice if you guys could have done this at home when I was there. But
Absolutely.
whatever, I'll take it. Lakers going to round two. Unfortunately, now they're matched up with the best team in the league, the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder. But I'll be delusional. I'll play into it. Hey, man, Lakers in 7. I want to see it. But, of course, I got a long way to go. Very excited. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to a game this series just because the 2 home games coming up Saturday and next Monday, I work. So that can't happen. I think the only way I can go if there's a game 6, and that's not until I think next Saturday. And looking at all the odds and the predictions, I don't think the Lakers are going to get that far to a game 6. But we shall see. But anyways, I'm very happy with that. On the other side with the Dodgers, another bad week. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. That was not fun. And then they lost 2 out of...
I said that. I said that last week, man. I said it.
Yeah. They lost.
Marlins are good.
They're
Man.
good.
Marlins
They're a good scrappy team, and they lost 2 out of 3 to them. And then we lost 2 out of 3 to St. Louis. But don't worry, the Dodgers ace Justin Robleski saved this team again yesterday with another solid performance, going 5-0 now in the season. And now the Dodgers go to Houston before they come home. So I'll be paying attention to it. But to answer your question, doing well. Lakers are winning. I would like to think that the Dodgers are sacrificing wins so the Lakers can keep going to the playoffs here. That's what I would like to think. I think weird like that. So, there was a stat going around last week up until Game 4 every game the Dodgers lost, the Lakers won. So I went into Game 4 last week like, oh shit, like the Dodgers lost. I'm like, okay, cool. Like the Lakers are gonna sweep the Rockets, and then the Lakers ended up losing too. I'm like, well, there it goes. But then, and then the Dodgers ended up losing Wednesday, and then the Lakers lost as well. Real quick story too, by the way, on that, and then we'll jump into the topics here. I was at the Laker game Wednesday, and shout out to all my homies, man. Shout out to all my friends. They were able to one get me a seat upgrade in the 100s. That was freaking cool. And I was able to take a picture on the court after the game. That was freaking incredible. A lot of red tape to get to that point, but I was able to get it. Um, Super happy. But where I was sitting at, I was sitting next to these two Laker officials, and I was wondering like, oh, who the hell? Because when I was sitting next to them, they had like these credentials, like, and it said team on it. So I'm like, okay, these guys must be pretty important. I'd say maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes later, I looked down during one of the timeouts, and of course, I'm up on the very last row, so I see everybody the back of their head, so I can't make people out. But then I see this one girl get up from her seat, and then I see the dude next to me and another security person kind of like go follow her to take her to wherever she needs to go. And I'm like, what the hell was that all about? Like, she just kind of like, she turned around and she gave like this nod of like, hey, I'm trying to go somewhere. Could you follow me? I'm like, what the fuck kind of person is this? What the hell does this woman think she is? It was LeBron James's wife. It was Savannah James. I was like,
That's
oh,
great.
okay, now I get it.
Now
So
it makes
now it
sense.
makes sense. So it was amazing to watch like these two people just like, and don't get me wrong, like she wasn't getting heckled or anything like that. Nobody, honestly, I don't think hardly anybody even knew she was there. But
Mhm.
it was just so weird, like this, the wife of like one of the most iconic players in not just basketball but in sports, she's just
Yeah.
chilling with the rest of the crowd. Like, she should be on the court side. Like, she should be like courtside with a ton of security, but I guess not. So um so that was kind of cool to see, like, oh shit. And then she came back to her seat, and I was like, oh shit, that's Savannah James. I was like, oh shit. I'm like, all right. So I was like, can I? And I looked at the dude next to me when he got back to his seat. I'm like, can I meet LeBron? Like it's clearly like you guys know some of the James family. Like, can I meet LeBron after the game or something? But obviously, I wasn't gonna ask that. But anyways, just a little story for you. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And then of course the Lakers lost, and I left all pissed off. But anyways, let's jump into the topics at hand. So we got some sad news. Of course, we heard this morning John Sterling passed away at the age of 87. We're going to start there. But then we also have um bunch of pitching injuries, specifically Crochet and Tarek Skubal today. That was big news. I think top three finishers in AL Cy Young voting last year are now all on the injured list, I think, for extended period of times. So that's really interesting. And then Anthony Volpe got sent back to AAA, so Kyle will, um, do his thing and be all excited. Kyle brought this up, and if he didn't bring this up, I would have never mentioned it. Mickey Moniak is apparently tearing it up in Colorado, and we need to discuss that. And then, of course, um, we'll do our two teams, and then we'll call it a day. But we're gonna start right here, unfortunately, with some sad news. Um, John Sterling, of course, the iconic radio voice of the Yankees for so long, passed away today at the age of 87. Man, it today was another gut punch, man, because it seems like with a lot of these older broadcasters, they're starting to, like, either retire or unfortunately pass away. John Sterling today. We had Bob Uecker pass away right uh, at the beginning, I believe, of last year, 2025, if I'm not mistaken. Vince Scully passed away a couple years ago. Um, Howie Rose, he's the radio voice for the Mets. He's retiring at the end of this season. So man, you're having some iconic broadcasters, man, that have called baseball for a long time for their respective teams. Man, they're starting to, it's crazy. Like, you're not going to hear their voices anymore. And today, John Sterling was one of them. He 30. I think it was like almost 40 years. He was the voice of the New York Yankees on radio. So that's a long time. A lot of people, grew up listening to him, and of course, all the iconic calls, all the iconic nicknames. I'm sure we're going to discuss some of them right now, but sad day. Saw a lot of tributes from a lot of Yankee greats, Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge. That was really cool. But I haven't done it yet. I think I'm gonna do it later. I'm gonna start, like, go listen back to some of his calls and just kind of reminisce a little bit. But another giant in the sports broadcasting industry is gone, and sad day. It was a sad day, and I'm very. I know all these professional teams do a tremendous job of honoring their greats, including the broadcasters and retired players. I'm very interested to see what the Yankees do tonight because I think they're home tonight. I think they were
They
playing.
are.
Yeah, they're home tonight again. So I'm very interested to see what kind of tributes they do, and I'm sure it's going to be a heavy night for the Yankee broadcast today. So, but anyways, rest in peace. Condolences to all his family and friends.
Yeah, absolutely. You said that perfect. The Yankees take on the Baltimore Orioles tonight at 7:05, live from Yankee Stadium, and I have to imagine, obviously, Yankees' known broadcaster right now is Michael Kay. I have to imagine there's gonna be some emotion with tonight's game. And dude, when I tell you, when the news dropped this morning, it choked me up, man. It choked me up. I was at work. I was in the middle of obviously posting the news about John Sterling, and it dude, I was overcome with emotion because when I tell you that John Sterling is a voice that it's really the only Yankee voice that I've really ever known outside of Michael Kay. Obviously, I'm 25. Next month I'm going to be 26. My entire life has been John Sterling and New York Yankees baseball. They go together. It's all it ever was. And it choked me up, man. It really did because this one, like, whenever you get this news or these types of news of these legends that you grow up with and they pass away, like your heart drops, man. It truly does. And that's exactly what happened this morning when I saw it. I was shocked for a minute. And like he retired in 2024, and I mean, understandably so. I have his broadcast stats up. John Sterling called a total of 5,631 regular season plus postseason games for the New York Yankees. He retired April of 2024. That in itself was a gut punch. His consecutive streak is nothing to scoff at. 1989 to 2019, 5,060 games, and again his tenure, yes, about 40 years at 36. So this one this one hit home very, very close to me, man. Very close. And all I've ever known was John Sterling. And man, he he was great, man. He was so lively in that booth, man. And those calls were iconic. Burn Baby Burn was my personal favorite. But um yeah, man, sad day, very, very sad day, and we're gonna see that later with the Yankee game, and I'm probably gonna get choked up again later when I tune into that Yankees game against the O's. But it sucks, man. This is the part of what we do really does suck because not only are we covering the game that we love, but we form very sentimental relationships with these players, whether you like it or not. And obviously we're not personal with these players,
Yeah.
but it's what we do. And it doesn't only go on the field. It goes into the broadcast booth. It goes to the journalists that write, the beat reporters. So this was an extremely sad day, and it really, really hit close to home for me. It was tough, man. It was very tough. Had to take a minute, to kind of gather my thoughts on this, but yeah, absolutely gut punch. Sucks, but John Sterling was not only a great broadcaster, a legend of the broadcasting game in sports, but he was also a great man. I mean, everybody around him absolutely loved him. There's old videos that surface when things like this happen, and he was great with the kids, man. He was great with the youth and just everybody around him. He was a guy you wanted to be around, and it was a sad day when he retired. And obviously today is a very sad day, very depressing. But John Sterling gave us a lot of memories that we can hang our hat on. And yeah, he was a one of one, man. There is no other John Sterling. He is in that category of Vin Scully and Bob Uecker. Like you had mentioned, absolutely iconic. And Melo, obviously Vin Scully really, he hit home for me too. But yeah, now I know exactly what you felt, man. I really did. But yeah, absolutely, absolute gut punch. But John Sterling was a one of one. He was a great man, and yeah, sucks. But rest in peace, John Sterling. You will be missed. You've been missed this entire year. You know, the last 2 years that you've retired. But yeah, just all my condolences to his family, his kids, his wife. Yeah, he was a 101 man.
Yeah, absolutely. And one final thing, and then we'll get off. We'll go to another topic. But Vince Scully. I remember the year 2016. That was his final season as the broadcaster for the Dodgers, and obviously, um, I think it was before his final homestand. He had like this big media press conference, and it was literally a media room full of Dodger reporters and people just asking him literally anything. I think
Yeah.
it's on YouTube. You can find it too. It was like
Hmm.
over an hour, just him asking him questions about his life and what he wants to be remembered by. And I never forget he said something that's like, and this just went to the type of person that Vince Scully was. He had mentioned that when I'm gone, like I'm just gonna be another one of the millions of broadcasters or people. It's like the Dodgers are gonna continue their season next year without me, and everybody's gonna forget about all this once we get back to the season next year. But I think the one thing that Vince Scully failed to realize, um, it's not the same. It's not the
Nope.
same. And even God, I think this is 2026, so this year will be 10 years since he was final season. To this day, it's still not the same, and that's not a shot or disrespect that any of the Dodger play-by-play people. Joe Davis, Steven Nelson, none of them. They all do a tremendous job, and I applaud them that they have done a tremendous job of taking over one of the greatest announcers of all time. They've done a tremendous job. But again, the one thing that I think Vince Scully failed to realize, yeah, we move on and another voice takes over, but it's still not the same. It's
Never
still
will be.
not the same. And
Yep.
no, without question, that's going to be the same feeling with John Sterling. And I know, he had been retired for a couple seasons already, and I'm sure it's not the same. That and again, that I want to make this very clear. That is not a shot at whoever takes over the job or whoever has been taking over the job, um, as Yankee radio play-by-play. That doesn't take away anything from him or her, but it's just not the same. You get used to listening to the same voice over and over again every single night. And especially in a sport like baseball, where it's 162 games, baseball was made for the radio. You can
Hmm.
take it anywhere with you. It can be on your phone. It could be on your stereo in your car. You can have it with you at the beach during the summer or by the poolside, like wherever. It's always there, and you get used to listening to the same people every single day. And
Yeah.
and again, it's just, of course, yeah, guys retire, people move on, but it's not gonna be the same. It never will be.
No, it's definitely not. And you had touched on who took over for John Sterling after he retired in 2025. Dave Sims is who took over
Right.
for
Yeah, because he
John
came from
Sterling.
Seattle.
Correct. He is along with Susan Waldman. And now I'll say this. Susan Waldman has also been there, with John Sterling. She was a big
20
part of my
years.
childhood as well. Yeah, she was a big part of my childhood as well. And Dave Sims is nothing, dude. He is a legendary broadcaster in of his own. I'm probably going to be having the same conversation when Dave Sims finally, hangs it up and he's no longer the broadcaster of the Yankees because he took what he did in Seattle and brought it to Yankee baseball and he fit immediately with Susan Waldman in the booth. And both of them have been fantastic and they're legendary in their own way. But John Sterling, along with Vin Scully, Bob Euchre, and the rest of those guys, no matter how good you are, nobody will replace that voice in Yankee baseball or Dodger baseball or Brewer baseball. And again, no shot at the other broadcasters, but that's the type of mark that these guys have left on the game. And it's so funny because some of these guys have never played baseball before, but
Right.
yet you immediately put baseball along with these guys and their voices, and they have become an absolute icon of that team that they broadcast for. And Vin Scully with the Dodgers, Bob Euchre with the Brewers, and John Sterling with the Yankees.
I mean, look
These
at
are
look at
guys
the Cubs. Harry Carey's been dead for like over almost 30 years now.
Yeah,
and he's still looked at as an icon and a figure of Chicago. You see his statue outside of Wrigley. They still have his face on the broadcast, like in the booth area. Like they still show him on when they're doing the seventh inning stretch every game. And the whole
absolutely.
point behind the seventh inning stretch is the way Harry Carey used to do it, and it's a
Yep,
tribute to him every single game. So
absolutely.
a lot of these people are timeless.
Absolutely, and I'm so glad you brought that up because although Vin Scully might think that he was forgotten, he never will be.
No,
Neither will Bob Uecker. Neither will John Sterling. Neither will these iconic, these iconic voices that become household names. And John Sterling's just added to that list now. He's going to be a guy that we remember for the rest of our lives. All Yankee fans, all baseball fans will remember all of these guys, and that's the type of impact that they made on the game. So I'm glad you brought that point up because I do think it's a really good point to drive in what we're saying here because these guys absolutely iconic. They're all one of ones. You will never replace them, no matter how hard you try. And yeah, rest in peace to all of those guys. John Sterling, um, again, just final thoughts. One of one, absolutely amazing man, great broadcaster. I can't say enough about the guy. He's been there since my childhood, and it's a sad day, man. It really is.
very well said. And I don't think I'd put this in there, but my favorite home run call is always when he does the Stantonian blast.
Yeah,
Those are always my favorite right there.
I'll leave you on this. Giancarlo Stanton's home run was the last call that John Sterling ever made.
Yeah,
Yep,
and of course his famous "The Yankees win," which unfortunately
absolutely.
now has turned into a meme the other way. But um, hey, it's always gonna be "The Yankees win," and again, that's one of
Absolutely.
those things where it's like, yeah, John Sterling's passed away, but that's always gonna be there. Like fans are always gonna do that. Yeah.
Because the Yankees now play that at Yankee Stadium when they
Oh wow,
win,
I didn't know
along
that.
with yes, along with Frank Sinatra's New York, New
Oh,
York.
that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Well said. Rest in peace. All right. Let's get to let's get to the big topic here. The other big topic. Let's get this out of the way. So apparently there is a bunch of pitching injuries now that are starting to rise again, and
Hmm.
Tarek Skubal is the second person to now have elbow surgery for loose bodies in his left elbow. He is, of course, joining my Dodger closer Edwin Diaz, um, having that same type of surgery. Um, Apparently, he started to feel this in his last start, and
Hmm.
I guess the Tigers just completely not to say they didn't care, but I guess they just completely just let him go without it. Like, all right, whatever. But it is so crazy that all these pitchers are now injured. You got Tarek Skubal, Garrett Crochet, Spencer Swellenbach, Hunter Green, Hunter Brown, Brandon Woodruff, Joe Ryan, Nick Pavetta, Josh Hader, Edwin Diaz. Those are some of the best pitchers in this sport, and
Yep.
it's just it's an epidemic. It really is. All these pitching injuries, and some of these injuries are not the same as others. Like they're all different related injuries, but you when I heard elbow surgery, I'm like, Jesus, like you immediately think he's out for the season. And of course, in
Yep.
a year with uh, a contract year for Tarek Skubal, talk about worst timing ever.
Yep.
He was gonna be in line, and I still think he will, but he's gonna be in line. He's in line to get the largest contract in by a pitcher, starting pitcher ever in the history of the sport.
Yep.
And um, I wonder if now that kind of takes a hit a little bit. I wonder, but um, there's an epidemic here with these injuries. It's kind of crazy, but it's sad, and yeah, kind of had to do a double take when I heard that and when I saw it on my phone this morning. Like what? Like so the recovery should take about 2 to 3 months. I know that's the same time recovery with Edwin Diaz. So again, the only thing I can say if you're a Tigers fan, again, injuries suck. It's part of the game, but the only positive thing you can take away from this, just glad it happened in May. because his season would be over if this was happening in July or August. It's the same
Yep.
thing I said with Edwin Diaz, but um, I just wonder if this could have been avoidable because it seems like he was having some problems with it with his last start. And for a guy like Tarek Skubal, who was so good, and if the Tigers want to go anywhere this year, of course it's going to have to be with Skubal leading the way at the top of that rotation. So I just wonder if the Tigers knew something, but they just were like, oh, it's just fatigue or he'll be okay. And of course, John Heyman, man, is he getting ripped to shreds right now on social media because he speculated like, oh, maybe it's just a precautionary thing, and then 20 minutes later, no, actually he's getting surgery and he's gonna be out
Yep.
for a couple months. But um, sucks. It just sucks to see.
Absolutely. And this is something that we talked about a few years ago, right? We saw in, in the minor leagues all of these young arms getting put on the shelf because they're trying to throw 103, 104. We saw it last year, Garrett Cole got injured. He was out for all of last year. Carlos Rodon, and just all of these guys who are collectively getting these injuries that are severe. And it's because for some odd reason, somewhere along the way, pitching has changed. Okay, because especially with us doing our recap of the day and stuff like that, we're really like
We see it
we're
every
in
day.
tune with.
Yeah.
We see it every day. We're in tune with how long these starters go and stuff. And this is something that we talked about. I'd say about like 2 years ago at this point that the game started shifting with the way that they view pitching. These pitchers are not going into the eighth inning anymore. They're not going. They're barely going into the seventh. And I remember growing up, the seventh inning or bust for a lot of these starters because that's how you solidified your longevity. If you could pitch over 200 innings a year, if you could pitch into the seventh inning every single game, or I'm sorry, every single start. And now it's switched. These guys are going 4 5 innings and then it's being passed off to the bullpen. So somewhere along the way this has changed. And I really think this is yet another epidemic, like you said, where I don't know, does pitching yet again change? Where they're going to be more focusing on long relievers, guys like Ryan Yarborough, just off the top of my head, who can go out there after a starter, goes 4 innings and then he can give you an extra three, and then you can pass it off to your setup guys and then obviously your closer at the end. So I don't know. Does it change markets? You know, do some of these young pitchers turn into relievers because of this? I don't know. It's going to be interesting the way it goes, but this pitching is a problem. It's been a problem in the majors for the last few seasons because you don't see guys like Nolan Ryan anymore who throw out complete games where he's pitching, I don't know, 10 complete games a year, something like that. We don't see that anymore. And we probably never will because all of these scouts who, when they go to the colleges and when they go to the high schools, they look for guys who light up the radar gun, guys who are throwing 85 to 90 in high school. And then you can perfect that and get their velo up to, I don't know, 95, 96. And then when they reach the majors, they're ready to throw 104, every single pitch. Well, that tears down your arm. And I'm also interested to see if this changes pitching contracts. Do teams go for more, less years, high AAV, where it's like, yeah, I'll sign you for 4 years max, but I'll give you a boatload of money along with it. Because again, you don't want to get tied down. Because look what the Yankees did with Garrett Cole. Now, listen, I'm not taking anything away from Garrett Cole. He's had a phenomenal Yankee career, but he's coming back soon from injury where he had to get Tommy John. Now, we don't know how he's going to come back. Garrett Cole is not a spring chicken anymore. He might come back and I don't know, maybe top out at 92 on
Be
his
the fourth best
fastball.
pitcher on the team now.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. It's wild to think about that. Garrett Cole was our best pitcher 2 years ago. He goes down with injury, comes back. We now have Max Fried and Cam Schlittler probably ahead of him. So, and it's the same with Carlos Rodon. He might be number 4 or 5 in this rotation. But when it comes down to it, these pitching injuries are a real thing. And teams got to think about the future. And that's what scares me for Tarek Skubal. And obviously Paul Skeens when we get to it. Now, some of these guys, you're going to have to pay the piper when it comes to some of these guys. And that's how it is for Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal. But don't be shocked if a lot of teams pass up on Tarek Skubal, depending on how this injury goes. Now, I'm not saying, oh, blow it up, he's done for his career. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that. But what I am saying is, I don't know, maybe this is a nagging injury. Maybe it's something that it keeps up with him. It's things that these teams have to think about, given the fact that Tarek Skubal could get 400 million on the open market, if not more. So again, it's very interesting the way this is going to go, but I'm very curious to see how pitching evolves in the next few years. Like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, what is pitching going to look like anymore? Are we going to see more utilized bullpens? Are we going to see guys who only go 4 or 5 innings as starters? I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. And then that also takes me to the Red Sox. Dude, the Red Sox are going through it right now. Not only is their lineup not producing as much as we might have thought, their their pitching staff is getting blown left and right. You got Garrett Crochet, who's the big news, and then Ranger Suarez, who last I heard they're doing imaging and stuff like that to see where he's at. But if he goes down for long term, dude, this Red Sox pitching staff is done. Dude, this Red Sox team is done because you Garrett Crochet is a big enough blow in itself.
Right.
Ranger Suarez can hold down the fort, but if he's out too, I don't know, man. And I think that also takes me back to the Tigers because Framber Valdez, that signing looks a whole lot better
I was
now.
just gonna say that.
Yeah, it looks a whole lot better because guys like Ranger Suarez and um, Framber Valdez can hold down the fort until these big guys come back, Crochet and Scuball. But it's a very interesting topic, this whole pitching thing, because we don't know where it's going to go from here. We really don't. But we'll obviously keep you guys updated. But this list is a problem, man. That list that you read off of all those guys, it's a problem. And something needs to happen, before these guys have to end their careers early, or they can't find jobs, or they're not getting paid to the market value that they should be. It's a big problem, man. It's a huge problem.
Same thing with the Cubs. They have no pitching right now either. It's Shota Imanaga, and then everybody else is on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly.
And number two, somewhere, I don't know where his corporation building is, but somewhere at Boris Corporation, Scott Boris is screaming, "See, I told you so."
Yep.
Told you this guy shouldn't have been pitching in the WBC.
Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna bring up the WBC because it's a big point. It makes you think. Like, is it all because of a contract year, or I don't know? I don't want to speculate,
I don't
but I
either,
don't
but
know.
I mean, I'm sure that was a big part of it.
It only makes you think more because now he's going to be out for the next 3 to 6 months, and the way that I'm looking at it, I'm looking back at this and saying, well, he wanted to be there for Team USA. He wanted to pitch, and we were, obviously we were covering the WBC like it's nobody's business. We were on top of everything.
And we
And
killed him for flip
Scuball,
flopping.
correct. Scuball was a big topic of conversation when we were in Houston, and then when we came home, obviously. But I don't know. Was something going on then, or was it all precautionary? I don't know. But again, it's May. Tarek Scuball has not made a lot of starts. It only makes you speculate more.
All right. Let's do Mickey Moniak. I guess we can keep Anthony Volpe with the Yankees. So, um,
Okay.
Mickey Moniak. He is, and again, if Kyle didn't tell me this, I would have never seen it. He's batting 327. He has 11 home runs, 21 RBIs, 32 hits. He is very quietly one of the best offensive players in baseball to start this year.
Yeah.
And again, the Angels probably got to be kicking themselves again. Like, damn it, we had this guy in the building. What the hell happened? And I think I don't remember how that all went down. I don't know if how he got away from the Angels, but um, I don't know if they released him or what. I don't remember, but
I believe it was a trade.
it might have been a trade, yeah.
If I'm not
And I think the
mistaken.
person they traded for, he's not doing anything.
Correct.
Let me
I just
see.
want to make sure.
Oh, that's right. I think it was because I saw some Angels fans talking about it yesterday. I think it was Tim Anderson was involved in it somehow. and then he ended up
He
getting
was.
released anyways, something like that.
Yes. Okay, so the Angels released Mickey Moniak in March of 2025 after he won a $2 million arbitration case. After
Oh, you
that,
cheap bastard,
he
Moreno. Oh,
he signed a 1 year deal to play with the Rockies for 1.25 million, and then that's where they added Tim Anderson to take his place. Basically, is so yes, he was never physically traded,
traded, yeah.
but if you want to hypothetically think about it, he was technically like traded for Tim Anderson because he took his spot.
So just shout out to him. He is having a tremendous start to the season, and yeah, kind of a bright, kind of
Yeah,
leading the charge of this kind of uh underdog Rockies team. They've beaten the Dodgers, they've beaten the Phillies, they've beaten a bunch of solid teams. I mean, the Phillies are not solid this year, but you get the idea. They're
yeah,
beating some quality teams to start the season, and Mickey Moniak has had his fingerprints all over it to start this season.
absolutely. And let's not forget that Mickey Moniak was a former first overall pick in 2016 by the Phillies. And what he's been doing on the baseball diamond has been ridiculous. I mean, you already kind of mentioned his stats. This dude has an OPS over 1,000, right? He's hit safely in 16 straight games. He has a 1.2 F WAR. For all you guys who are big into the WAR numbers, he has just been on a tear. He also leads the National League in OPS again with the 1.098. He is just, dude, he's on one, man. And this was, and like, I haven't seen too much on Mickey Moniak on social media, so I wanted to make sure we gave him his flowers.
Yeah,
Uh, he's just been lighting it up, man. And it's so funny because, like, so obviously I'm from the Philly area, and for me, all I heard for the last 10 years, well, back in 2016, and the years leading up was, oh, I'm so excited for Mickey Moniak. He's the first overall pick, this, that, and the other, and then he just never panned out. And he was hated in Philly, dude. And then he shipped over to Anaheim, and he obviously didn't put it together there. And then now he's with Colorado, and he's hitting it up, man. And for all you want to say, Coors Merchant, dude, he's always had these tools, man. He's always had the talent. He was a first overall pick for a reason. He's always had the talent. He just needed the space to be able to put it together. And I think the Rockies was a perfect fit for him. And from what I understand, he loves playing in Colorado, dude. Not
and I would
only
too.
at Coors Field, not only at Coors Field, but he loves what the Rockies are doing. And listen, whether you want to take that with a grain of salt or not, that's fine. But when a major league player is coming out and saying like, "Hey, I love what the Rockies are doing," I you got to take it how it is. And if the Rockies are building something over there, hey, Mickey Moniak's on board. It's very clear. So good for him, man. I just wanted to make sure we gave him his flowers before just skipping over him or anything. So good looks. Mickey Moniak is going out there and he's hitting the freaking laces off the ball, and it's cool to see, man. It's so cool to see this guy who's made it, who made it to the majors with the first overall pick, and then he didn't pan out, and now he is. It's a cool story, and good for Mickey Moniak.
Yeah, and it's the cherry on top for me is that he was with the Angels, and then they gave up on him, and then the
Yeah,
next place he goes to, he starts to put it together. That would be typical Angels for you right there. But the
absolutely.
most home runs he's hit in his career was last year, 24. He's already at 11, and we're only
Yeah.
27. Yeah, and he's played 27 games so far this season.
And listen, man, this is another point I wanted to bring up with the Angels. He didn't have a bad year with the Angels.
Right? No, he was still
That's
yeah.
why that's why it surprised me when they let him go. And if it's over $2 million, the Angels got a bigger problem than Mickey Moniak on their hands, honestly, if that's what it's over. But I will say Mickey Moniak he was finally starting to put it together in Anaheim, and then they ship him off, which does makes no sense to me. But good for him, man. Seriously, I'm extremely happy for him.
All right, let's get to Yankees. I've never seen Yankee fans so happy than where they were yesterday when um Kyle, the floor is yours. Volpe Yankees, whatever you want.
Yeah, I'll start with Anthony Volpe, and then I'll go into my Yankees recap, and then we'll finish off the podcast with the Dodgers. So the first thing I want to say regarding this is I it's the principle. Anthony Volpe just so happened to be the move that it happened on.
The second coming of
So
Derek Jeter.
why I was so happy about this is because the Yankees are finally playing good baseball and they're not getting in their own way. And what I mean by that is they're not getting too analytical on the diamond. They're not having Boone as a puppet for some of these moves. They're playing the hot hand. They're not playing lefty righty. They don't care about that this year. They're playing the guys who are playing hot and they're making smart moves out of the front office. They sent down Luis Heel. Listen, Luis Heel, AL Rookie of the Year. They sent him down because he hasn't been putting it together. They got rid of Randall Grichuk, who was batting I think 126 in his Yankee tenure. They DFA'd him, and the Yankees are notorious for keeping those kind of guys around because again they don't have a lot of guys on the base pass who can be a pain in the ass or anything like that. So the fact that they were keeping those utility guys around were keeping roster spots for other guys, and they're making smart moves. They didn't care about that. He wasn't helping the team, so they got rid of him. It was that simple. And I think that's the principle of all of this is the fact that the Yankees are finally doing what we have been asking them to do for the last few years. Stop getting analytical, play the hot hand, and play with your gut. The way baseball was supposed to be made or played all those years ago. And that's where the Yankees' success has always been. There's, again, the championships, everything else, it was built on gut feeling. Joe Torre was a big manager of that. He was a guy who went out there, he played the hot hand. He didn't care about lefty righty. He just went out and played baseball. And that's what the Yankees are doing this year. And I think that's why the principle of all of this means more to me than Anthony Volpe getting sent down to AAA. Now, am I gonna defend Anthony Volpe for a second? Absolutely, because I think it's not all bad with Anthony Volpe. The Yankees never gave him a spot to succeed, right? They played him through injury. They overplayed him on certain days and just never gave him the spot to be able to develop. Remember, they called him up at a really young age
Yeah, he
and
was
he
doomed
never
from the
played.
start because he was they were touting him like again, he was the second coming of Derek Jeter. So he was doomed from the
Exactly.
start. He had big expectations when he came up here in 2023. Sorry.
Yeah.
Continue.
No, you're 100% right. Mixed everything with what I said with what you just said. It's 100% right because nobody can live up to those expectations, especially when you're playing in New York. It's just never going to happen. So the fact that they sent him down to AAA, I think tells a lot to you about a few things. Number one, the way the front office is being ran this year. And number two, Jose Caballero. Jose Caballero is lights out this year. I just want to make sure that I'm getting this 100% right, just so I'm not talking out of my ass a little bit. But Jose Caballero is batting 259 with 4 homers, 12 ribbies. He has 30 hits on the year, dude. Um, he is, dude, like everything about Jose Caballero this year has been lights out. He's hitting at the bottom of the lineup, which again, the 259 average is a little whatever, but he's hitting above league average in OPS 711. He has an on base percentage of 306, 13 stolen base to his credit. Like this is the kind of guy that you want to ride when he's hitting at the peak. Because this is exactly what you wanted out of Jose Caballero to kind of wait for Anthony Volpe. Well, it's funny enough because as Boone was going through his press conference 2 hours later, and Jose Caballero hit another homer. It, the storylines write themselves, and for the fact that the Yankees they're riding the hot hand and the hot bat with Jose Caballero. He's also playing really good defense. I don't want to he I think I saw a stat somewhere where he's like I think he's leading the league in defensive run saves at shortstop position. Dude, he's doing everything that you could ask for and more. So for the fact that the Yankees are doing that finally and not just saying, well, Anthony Volpe's our shortstop. We're gonna ride or die with him. No, they're sending him to AAA to perfect his game and doing exactly what. Don't mess with this team right now. This is where I'm gonna get into the Yankees recap a little bit. They're 13-2 over their last 15 games. Pitching, they've given up the fewest amount of runs in all of Major League Baseball. Why would you mess with this lineup? Why would you? Oh, and the lineup is top 10 in basically every freaking offensive category there is. Why would you mess with this team right now by bringing back Anthony Volpe, who was a former top prospect, just to throw him in there and for him to what? Bat 120 on the year? Like, it's just, that's not what we need right now. The Yankees are playing damn good baseball. Keep it up. Please. That's what we've been asking for. The Yankees have been one of the hottest teams in baseball. It's not what I expected to start the year, but damn, like I'm happy about this. This is great. I'm going to enjoy this as long as it's going to last. But I think the biggest thing that's the difference, and I said this to you a few weeks ago, the Yankees have always started out the year really good, always. And then when they hit that Yankee fans like to call it the Boone swoon because he
Oh,
makes
that's
those
funny.
dumbass decisions over the over the summer months. But even if they do hit that, I have to give the Yankees their flowers because listen, this front office, the way they're running, it's different this year. And that's what I like about all of this. That's why the principle of Anthony Volpe getting sent down to AAA means more to me than Anthony Volpe getting sent down to AAA. I think it's a much better feeling because the Yankees are riding the hot bats. They're riding the hot hands in the pitching staff out of the bullpen. They're doing everything really good right now. And that's completely different from what we've seen in years past. So, yes, the years look alike with the way they start the year, but the front office is running a different ball club this year. And that's what I absolutely love. And props to the Yankees, dude. I'm not going to say this often. Hal Steinbrenner, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone. Props to you guys. You guys been running a tight ship with the New York Yankees this year, and I absolutely love it. And this is why this move with Anthony Volpe to AAA, like that's why we're happy, is because we're seeing something different. We're seeing a team who actually wants to win. The decisions that they are making shows me that they want to win. And that's not something I've seen in a very long time. So good for the Yankees. They're playing damn good ball right now and keep it up. I have no complaints this week. None. Not a single one. Because this Yankee team is finally growing some balls here and running the New York Yankees the way the New York Yankees should be ran. The 27-time World Series
Oh,
champions,
Jesus.
the New York Yankees. We're bringing the brand back. We're bringing the winning ways back. And Anthony Volpe to AAA means that. So good on the Yankees.
I can't believe that's all it took just
Listen,
to
man,
not
it's
bring
the
him back up, get some new jerseys in here in the rotation. That's all it took.
listen, man. The things I've seen from this front office this year tell me otherwise from years past, and that is why this means so much to me. Because I'm seeing a front office that wants to win, and that's what matters to us. We don't care how it's done. We care about making winning decisions and staying away from the bullshit that you've been putting us through the last few years. Bringing Volpe up when he probably wasn't ready. You know, consistently playing Oswald Peraza and frickin' Glaber Torres at short. Like, these are the decisions that pissed me off in the past, and it was never winning decisions. And now you're turning it around and you're playing the hot bats, you're playing the hot hands. Damn it, I've been waiting for this. And they did it. So good on the Yankees. Oh man, dude, it feels so good to say this. So good. And this is probably the most like until this team wins another World Series, this is going to be the episode that I'm going to talk the greatest amount of, you know, just props to all the Yankees and what they're doing right now. Their players are playing good. There's good responses in the clubhouse, good front office decisions. Boone's making good decisions on the ball field. I can't ask for more right now. And the principle of why Anthony Volpe was sent down and why Randall Grichuk was DFA'd and why Luis Hill was sent down and why Elmer Rodriguez was called up, that is what matters to me. That's exactly what matters. They're doing everything right. And damn it, I love it. Good on the Yankees.
All right, let me bring the vibes down then. The Dodgers, it's kind of crazy that the Yankees got the vibes are good right now. Then you got this Dodger team that's just kind of sleepwalking, I guess. The Dodgers did not have a good week last week. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Marlins. They lost 2 out of 3 to St. Louis. And the biggest reason why they did not have a good week is because their offense has completely stalled out again. Um, it is getting kind of frustrating watching this offense. Now, granted, they're not fully healthy again. They're still missing Mookie Betts, which I don't know when he's coming back. Shit, he can be back tomorrow. He can be back in June. I have no idea. Um, it is so frustrating watching this offense try and put the ball in play. They hit a ton of double plays over the weekend. By I think by the fourth inning on the game they lost on Saturday, I think they had like 5 double plays already. Like that's insane. But um, again, it's still the beginning. It's still May. I'm not gonna go crazy. And the thing that really was kind of funny to me, of course, the Dodgers are going through this rough little patch, and so was the rest of the National League West. I put out a
I
post over the weekend. They had a
I was going
19
to bring that
game
up.
losing streak at one point.
Yeah,
It didn't get broken until the Dodgers won yesterday, and I'm looking at the Giants lost again, the Rockies lost again, um, Diamondbacks lost again, and of course, the same day the Dodgers win, San Diego wins as well. So they're only a game, they're only a half a game behind us, but again, it is way too early to be watching the standings and stuff. But um, that's it's just so frustrating, just the inconsistency with this offense. They look like world beaters at the beginning of this season and for the first couple weeks, and then they've had their moments where they just completely stall out. Don't get me wrong, they've had their games where the offense breaks out. They had a game last week against the Cubs where their offense scored 12 runs and they looked unhittable. And then it's very up and down. You know what it is? I'm looking for the balance. Show me the balance. Cuz right now I'm seeing it really good and really bad. Like you got to meet me somewhere in the middle here. And that's
yep,
the thing that I just hope to see from this offense coming up very soon. Pitching wise, again, this is turning into a weekly um, praise of Justin Robleski. He has been fantastic, 5-0. If it wasn't for Shohei having an even better pitching start, Robleski would have been pitcher of the month for the month of March and April. But it went to Shohei Ohtani. I get it. And then Roki Sasaki, he had a better start, but again, it's like the thing that is so frustrating is number one, he gives you absolutely no length whatsoever right now. Like he's only going 5 innings, 4 1/3, 4 innings. Like that's all he's giving you right now, and he's now the again the whole frustrating thing is because he's getting no run support whatsoever. The one time he
yep.
did get run support was when they scored those 12 runs against the Cubs last weekend, but I give him credit for this. He is very good of when he has like a bad inning where he gives up multiple hits and maybe allows a couple runs in. He's done a good job of settling down, coming back out to the next inning if he gets allowed to go back out there. Usually pitches well after that. It just sucks that it has to take for him to get kind of rocked around a little bit for him to kind of settle down and lock in. And that happened on Wednesday. And the way this offense is going right now, they ended up losing the game 3-2. He only gave up 3 runs, which should be okay. But then the Dodgers lost 3-2, and they got no offense whatsoever that day. It didn't. It took until the ninth inning before they finally got somebody to touch home plate. So that's the other frustrating part, Roki Sasaki. And again, I'm telling you once again, and this is kind of the thing that I hope what the Dodgers are doing, what the Yankees are doing with Volpe. I kind of hope the Dodgers do this with Sasaki. Send him down. Send him down because Blake Snell looked very good again in his start in Ontario. He's going to make one more start, I think, and then the Dodgers are probably going to bring him back up here soon in the next like 2 weeks. But you just look at this rotation again. You're not taking out Ohtani. You're not taking out Yamamoto. You're certainly not taking out Robleski. You're not taking out Glasnow. And then you have Emmett Sheehan, who I've had my concerns with because his velocity is down this year on his fastball. And I'm afraid that there's an injury that he's potentially playing himself through.
Hmm.
It's Sasaki and Sheehan. And then you have Blake Snell, who has looked really good, by the way, in his couple starts he's made in Ontario. He's on the cusp of coming back. You have two
Hmm.
guys that are trying to compete for that last spot, and I'm sorry, Blake Snell's getting that spot.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Blake Snell's making a ton of money. He's a two-time Cy Young Award winner. He's getting that. He's gonna get a spot in the rotation no matter what.
Hmm.
I just hope that the Dodgers make the right decision and send down Roki Sasaki. To me, there's a big enough sample size. Has he been a total disaster? No. I come on here every week with Sasaki and I make it seem like he's only given us 2 innings and he gives up 7 runs. He's not pitching horrible.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Roki Sasaki, when he first came over here from Japan, he was looked at as one of the best pitching prospects to ever come out of the country. And thankfully, one of the Dodger reporters who works for the California Post, he's been rightfully calling out Dodger fans that have been like, almost applauding Roki Sasaki for giving us the bare minimum. It's like, hold on a second. Like, this guy was supposed to be better than Shohei and better than Yamamoto. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden, now we're applauding him and we're patting him on the back for letting for him just going the basic amount of innings, giving us a basic start. Like, why did this change all of a sudden? But I hope the Dodgers make the right decision. I hope when Snell's ready to come back, I hope Sasaki gets sent down and kind of fixes some things. Again, it sucks because I know it's gonna be a bad look, and I know a lot of fan bases are gonna be ready to pounce on him and make fun of him because it's like, oh, like. But yeah, I've started to see. I think some of the Dodger fans are starting to get frustrated with him too. And when
And
you're starting to get frustrated in house, that's gotta be a little bit of a wake up call. So I hope the Dodgers make the right decision. I think in the long run it'll help Sasaki a lot to stint down in AAA. But
hmm.
um, yeah, I hope they make the right decision here because I'm sorry, Blake Snell's coming back and he's getting us one of those rotation spots. And Shohei Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Robleski have been so damn good that you're not touching that right now. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
And also too on Sasaki, I mean, he signed here when the Dodgers were in the middle of their prime, in the middle of their championship run and this dynasty that they're creating.
Right.
It's there's an expectation that comes along with that.
Exactly.
And that's the big thing. Like all the reporters that are saying like, listen, like we can't just praise him for giving bare minimum. He needs to go out there and perform because that's the standard that the Dodgers are up to right now. And maybe that'll change 10 years down the road, 15, I don't know. But right here, right now, the Dodgers are in the middle of building a dynasty. And if you're going to be on this team and you're going to be obviously, wanting to get all of the luxuries that come along with being on the Dodgers right now, you need to perform. That's all it is to it. Even dude, I see all of the Dodger players who are like they take pride in playing for the Dodgers right now in this time period in history. They take pride in it. Even guys like Miguel Rojas, who is not an everyday player. Guys, freaking Will Klein, we saw that last year. Or Tommy Edman, a guy who went from starting in St. Louis and looks like he's taking his job 10 times more serious because he's playing in Los Angeles now. So again, like I agree. Like you can't just praise him for doing bare minimum. Listen, if you're gonna play in Los Angeles and be champions every single year, you got to live up to expectation. And again, you said it perfectly. He was a highly touted prospect coming out of Japan. You got to live up to it, man. That's what it comes with wearing that Dodger jersey right now. So yeah, no, it makes sense.
And one last thing, and then we'll get out of here. Let me give some harsh reality here. I don't. again, I don't think the Dodgers are going to do this. I don't like the fact, or I'm not going to like it, if Roki Sasaki gets some kind of special treatment. Shohei Ohtani gets the special treatment. Yoshinobu Yamamoto gets the special treatment. Mookie Betts gets the special treatment. Freddie Freeman gets the special treatment. Not Roki Sasaki. Hasn't done
Star
enough.
player.
Hasn't done enough to. Now, he had a great postseason last year. He
Mhm.
stepped in a bullpen role when the Dodgers desperately needed somebody to close games. But even at the end of the World Series there, he was starting to crack and he was giving up hard hit balls. Just go replay game 6 of the World Series in that ninth inning and tell me how that went. You know, Roki Sasaki was starting to starting to crack a little bit at the end there too. And so far this year, he hasn't been good.
Yep.
So I just don't. Sasaki has not earned the special treatment. So, yeah, but again, Dodgers, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games, so they've been exactly mid for this week stretch here. They're still in first place by half a game. They still, well, now they don't anymore, but they have the third best record in the National League. Again, I'm not worried about this team. They're still going to be there at the end, but it's going to get to a point where it's like the Dodgers can't afford to throw games just to try and see if Sasaki can figure it out. If he doesn't have it, he doesn't have it. The Dodgers got to start winning some games here. And they got a 3-game set in Houston, and then they come home for the Braves. And here come this hot Braves team, one of the best teams in baseball. So I expect the Dodgers to play well in that series, and then they have a big 4-game series against the Giants next week. So um, busy time at Dodger Stadium coming up. Get these 3 games against a not so good Houston Astros team. Um, get a series, and then let's come home and beat the Braves and beat the Giants. So, but anyways, I'm not concerned. I just don't want Sasaki to get the special treatment, and I hope when the decision has to be made, and it's coming real soon with Blake Snell coming back. I just hope they make the right decision, and I hope they just don't send down Sheehan or send down Robleski just because or they move. That's the other thing that'll bother me. If they move Robleski back to the bullpen, that's going to bother me too.
Yep.
Because he's a starter. He's earned the right to be a starter. If he starts
Absolutely.
to break down and if he starts to give up some hits, then we can talk about it. But for right now, don't mess with what's working. So we'll see what the Dodgers do. But anyways, there you go. It's kind of crazy. Usually it's flipped. The Dodgers are. I come in here all mighty and proud, like here come the Dodgers. We're beating the shit out of everybody. And Kyle is usually the one that's like, man, well, yeah, this Yankee team not that good. This week it's been flipped. It's kind of crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
No, for sure, man. It's been a long time coming. Listen, I've waited for this moment for a long time, and then we finally got it. But um, yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. But usually the Dodgers are making all the right moves. Okay,
exactly.
so we're gonna see what happens with this Roki Sasaki situation. Blake Snell's coming back. Justin Robleski's pitching his freaking ass off right now, and yeah, it'll be interesting. Maybe, just maybe, the Yankees have something over the Dodgers just once. Just give it to me once, but we'll see.
Dodgers Yankees Fall Classic again this year.
Don't do that to me.
You just sign me up for that again.
Listen, I'm down for it, but we'll see. I don't think I can go through another one of those. Dude, I'm telling you, if the Yankees and Dodgers meet in this year's Fall Classic, dude, if that shit hits the fan again like that, and the Dodgers get to celebrate three championships back to back to back on Yankee Stadium field, I might come in here guns blazing. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna take my small wins where I can get them.
Unless you got anything else, I think that's gonna do it.
I think that's it, man.
Good episode. Good episode.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, everybody, enjoy your week. Um, this might be the last time I'm actually happy coming in here after the Lakers win. Because by the time we come back here on Monday, there have been 3 games played against OKC, with the game 4 coming that night on Monday. So for all I know, I could come in here next week and the Lakers are down 3 and they're gonna get swept. So hopefully, hopefully I can come back in here next week happy with my Lakers. But anyways, we'll see you in a week. Adios. Go Lakers.